Okay, we're going to wait just like another 30 seconds. And I just thought I'd show you this really quick. This is my stack of cards that I have on my mantle. In fact, I don't even know when the first one... These are sent, I don't know, just the last few months. But I always just stack them on my mantle. So let me show you a few that came just recently. This first one is obviously celebrating Independence Day, or 4th of July here in America. And it was made by Melinda Fonstock, who's on my team. Love the red, white, and blue flowers, and she colored her flowers with Stampin' Blends. And it looks like she used the Stampin' Blend to make her flag as well. So super cute. This one is from a demonstrator named Tamara Davis. And I'm trying to think where she lives. Somewhere on the East Coast, I believe. But anyways, it's somebody I've met through incentive trips and training groups and things like that. Just a sweet lady, and she was going through a medical issue not too long ago, probably April, and I had sent a card, and I just got this really nice, beautiful card and really sweet note. And it's just incredible when I think about all of the people I've met through Stampin' Up! And all the friends I have that I probably would not have had otherwise if it weren't for Stampin' Up! And obviously she's one of those people. Well, all these people are that I'm showing you cards from. This was made by my upline, Susie Brunk. She and her upline, Sherry Parker, were at my house a couple weeks ago. They spent the night. We had dinner, and then they spent the night here, and we went to a Stampin' Up! Business training program for the day, and she wrote me a really nice note with great, wonderful comments and lots of pride and gratitude, and happy for me and my business, and proud of me for moving on and the choices I've made in life. And then this one comes from Rawlins, Wyoming. This is a recent, I say recent, probably in the last few months, customer I gained since I've been doing my Facebook Lives very consistently. And she made this beautiful card, and I think it's a true reflection of probably the area where she lives. So super nice. Okay, so today is kind of a long day, but anyways, so tonight's Facebook Live is completely on the fly. And the reason I say that is I have been working very diligently preparing blog posts for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be gone for about 10 days on the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. Plus, Andrea and I added a few days at the beginning of the trip. We're flying to Rome on Thursday. So I didn't want to just hang back and do nothing and not give you anything in those 10 days. So I've been working on that, which is pretty time consuming, doing all those blogs. Thank you. I appreciate the thumbs up. I'm glad you're excited. And then, of course, I won't have Facebook Lives Thursday or Tuesday and Thursday next week. So I've been working on that and several other things. I'm still in the process of making my swap cards that need to go with me on the Greek Isles incentive trip. But anyways, and perhaps I'll be doing a couple of Facebook Lives, just very impromptu, showing you a bit about maybe the trip and what we are doing on the trip, and perhaps even some, what do I want to say, some new product that I'm thinking we'll probably be getting. Usually they debut the holiday catalog during the July incentive trip, so I'm excited about that. So anyways, driving home from work today at 5:30, not used to driving in the rush hour traffic, and very grateful. I'm just driving about 15 minutes from home. But I was thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I do not want to cancel Facebook Live. I can do this. So, hi Diane, Cecilia, Vicky, Shelly, Tammy, lots of people jumping on. Thank you so much, and please share if you like, because that helps me a lot, and it's just nice to be able to share what we all love to do, this common interest we all have. So anyways, I started thinking about it, and I've been using some of my swap cards that you'll see I'll be featuring too. Hi Michelle, over the next couple of weeks as well. And I got to thinking, well, I have this one swap card, and this was made by Kathy Schaefer, okay? And it's just got this fun little fold on the front. And I got to thinking, well, I could use this as my inspiration. But I decided, oh yes, put up your July host code. Oh, it is July. I changed the code, but I didn't change the month. Thank you, Inez. Boy, if you live closer, I'd hire you for all that kind of stuff. Yes, the code is new. This is the correct code, July host code. I didn't change the month. Sorry about that. But anyways, this swap card is the inspiration I'm using tonight. And instead of using the Bird Ballad Suite, as Kathy Schaefer did, I'm going to be using the Mosaic Mood. And you know me, I am good at creating on the fly. I think part of that is I was an elementary school teacher and then a mom for many years, stay-at-home mom, and lots of volunteering in the schools. And sometimes you just have to wing it. So that's what we're doing tonight. And I hope you're going to enjoy it. I think you will. Okay, so the Mosaic Mood Suite is on page 118 through 120, okay? All the products are here. We have a wonderful bundle of the stamp set and the timeless punch. I think, yes, timeless label punch, okay? And then we have the awesome paper, which I'll show you in a moment. We have these. I just love these flower faceted gems. Just love them in 3 different colors. And we have some beautiful shimmery mint macaron ribbon. And then finally this awesome specialty paper. And it basically is specialty paper because it has these glossy raised images, okay? They're all embossed, and can you see, if I kind of move it around a little bit, can you see how it's embossed? Okay, so let me show you the patterns really quickly. There's one, and these first 6 are all the embossed side, okay? These fun little dot flowers. Fun leaves in shades of green. Beautiful roses and butterflies. Oh, and there's tiny little bees. I looked at this paper several times before I realized it had these tiny little bumblebees. So really sweet. This, I don't know what you call it, kind of a shell paper, rainbow pattern paper. And then back to the beginning. And then the reverse side does not have the raised embossing, but it does have beautiful colors and beautiful patterns. Okay, similar to that other one. Okay, so they've repeated the overall images, but just used them in several different ways. So I'm going to now set my catalog aside. And by the way, when I first started stamping, and still when I became a demonstrator 2 years after that, our catalog was called an idea book. And the reason is because of all those samples. Don't forget to use the samples in here to copy or use them for inspiration or to get card layouts or color combinations. Always a good resource, okay? Alrighty, so Again, this is the card for the inspiration. And I'm going to start with, I'm going to use this one, okay? And I'm going to start with a base of, I think I'm going to go with this garden green. Or maybe I'll make that, whoops. Okay, so I've got my Stampin' Trimmer beside me. Is that garden green? That's not. And I'm also going to pull out, let's see, one of these colors. How about Blushing Bride and Terracotta Tile? I have a ton of Blushing Bride. I don't know how that ever happened. Okay, so I've got these three, and I'm, oops, also that pretty yellow is So Saffron. Okay, so I'm just going to pull some of these out. I don't really know how I'm going to use them yet. Here we go. Okay, so I think that I am going to make my card base the, that's not Blushing Bride, is it? Yes, it is. Sorry, ladies. Just one of those days. Monique, thanks for sharing. Okay, Sandy, you mentioned the garden green. Let's go for that. Okay. So I think that I am going to use the Blushing Bride. Now I'm going to use the Terracotta Tile, I think. Let's see. And this is how I usually choose my colors. I just kind of put the layers together like that. And I think, oh, that works for me. I'm going with it. Okay. So I'm going to use the Terracotta Tile. Sorry, I have to scoot some of this over. It's in my way. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to use the Terracotta Tile as my card base. And you all know that you can make 2 card bases out of one 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. Okay, set that aside. And then I'm going to do my next layer, which is on here, is that yellow. I don't think it's, yeah, I guess it is that one, So Saffron. Anyways, so I'm going to cut a standard carved front layer, which is 5 1/4 by 4. And I always like to just go ahead and cut the second one. Ooh. Just because it's easy, and then I always have one kind of in my stash too. Or like I tell you a lot of times, I make 2 cards at once, okay? But I won't tonight because of time restrictions. I don't want to keep you too terribly long. Okay, so this is going to be my card front so far. I'm not going to put it together just yet, okay? And then I'm going to cut another layer. Oh, I'm seeing an angry face. Not sure what that's about. Hi, Karen from Arizona. Thanks to all of you who are sharing. I really, really appreciate it. So this layer is being cut 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. Okay, just want down a little bit because I want that just a small border, not quite as big as our normal size, usual size, I should say. Okay, and then what you're going to do is on this piece, and you can do it with your trimmer or you can do it with paper snips as well. If I can find mine. Here we go. So what I'm going to do, and you don't even have to measure this, I'm giving this to you, how do I say? I'm giving you this, a shortcut, a shortcut, okay? And I know 3 and 7 to go half of 5 and 1/8, whatever. Don't even worry about that, okay? So basically, I'm just going to fold this in half, and then I'm going to snip. And I just go about the length of my blade, okay? And then you're going to want to use your bone folder here. And this paper can be a little bit harder to get to lay flat on its fold, and that's especially why you want to use your bone folder. And that's because of the embossing. The paper's a little bit thicker. But we certainly won't complain that it's a little bit thicker with this beautiful embossing. It's a give and take, right? Okay. So I just like to make sure that my corner forms a nice point, and then I can go over it like that, okay? So I'm going to adhere this, okay? Now on this card, she went ahead and stamped some things in the background. I think I'm gonna skip that, okay? Because there's plenty going on here, plus with what I'm going to add, okay? So use your adhesive, and I do like to go around that V a little bit, putting a little bit more adhesive on than I normally would. And remember, this is a small border, okay? And we have that, okay? And if you feel the need, you can tack these down. It's not essential, but you can do that. Quick and easy, okay? And then I am going to put a greeting here. Now this is the stamp set. Sending all happy wishes your way. Great for a birthday, isn't it? Okay, let's use that one. I haven't even put all my labels on yet. This is the only stamp I've used in the set. Okay. But I wanted to show you this because it coordinates with that timeless label punch I showed you. And how about if we do the, not quite big enough. If I think it might not be big enough, I just go to a different little bit larger piece. Okay, so I'm going to stamp with terracotta tile ink, one of our new in colors. Think of a terracotta pot, like one that was just blown off my front porch. Okay, and I'm going to press that down. And this stamp's kind of neat because the ink fills in the background and the white comes through on the letters. Just a little fun something different. Then I'm going to use my timeless label punch to cut that out. These stamps are wonderful. You want to work from the back side so that you can center your image inside that punch opening. Okay. I'm going to add this right here with some of my dimensionals. Heaven forbid I have a card that does not have dimensionals on it, right? I know. I'm probably not the only one either. How many of you have dimensionals on pretty much everything you make? Anybody? Sandy Shake mentioned how much she loves garden green. I have to say it is a very versatile green. If you are in need of green inks, this is a great way to go because it pretty much goes with everything in the range of colors, as well as the brights versus the darker, richer colors. So one of my favorites. I would say this, Old Olive, and Mossy Meadow, but I sure love Granny Apple Green too. But those would be are probably my three go-to greens. Garden Green, Old Olive, and Mossy Meadow. Okay, so now I'm going to put this on my card base. just like that. Okay. I love the butterfly in here, and I think that butterfly gets a little bit overlooked. So I'm going to go ahead and cut one out, this one right here. And as you fuzzy cut these, you'll notice that there's just a nice border around the images, and just follow along that border. Don't worry about making it perfect. Nobody else is going to be fussing over it or criticizing you when you send them a hand-stamped card. Who has sent a hand-stamped card in the last, let's say 2 weeks? Either one you made, or perhaps one you got in a swap or card exchange, or even if you purchased. Who in the last 2 weeks has sent a hand-stamped card or handmade card? Have you ever sent a handmade thank you card and the person either calls you or texts you or sends you a card thanking you for the handmade card? It's handmade, not a Hallmark. Exactly right. And I think that adds even more value to it. That it's handmade and it's not. When I think of handmade, I think of things, I call it a gift from the heart. Okay. And I'm going to add this little butterfly. I'm going to use the minis. You could add a couple of these if you like. I think I'm even going to put this right on top of that other one. Okay. And then how about a couple of these? You can never have too many flowers, right? I'm going to put that right there. Okay. What do you think? Pretty good? Not bad for not having a plan. Oh, I love to hear that you guys are sending cards. Yay, yay, yay. That's awesome. Makes me happy. Okay. And then I'll probably put a piece of white cardstock on the inside. Just because this color is a little bit dark for writing directly on. And, honestly, your words that you put inside are just as important. And again, it doesn't have to be, a speech. Just right from your heart. Okay, I promise you the people receiving your handmade card with a handwritten note will be thrilled. Okay, so there's one. Okay, so now, being that that's the only stamp set, or only stamp in this set that I've used, I think I should do something more. I want to try this tree. I kind of think of it as a willow tree. Okay. Does everybody know how to put their stamps together? Okay. You're going to peel off this backing, and each one of these images will have the backing split, that adhesive cover split. Pull out your stamp. Obviously, this is for the red rubber cling stamps. Okay. Oh, ladies, thanks for all the compliments. Oh, using paper pumpkin, that's a great way to get a stash of cards to mail out. And then you're just going to, kind of sit it on top of the label, trying to match up the edges. I'm getting a shadow over here, so hopefully I'm pretty good. Okay. Now I also need to do the same thing with the tree trunk. And this time I'll be using soft suede ink for the trunk, and then I will also use, what other greens are in here? I know mint macaron is, but that might be it. Garden green and mint macaron. Yes, I think I'm going to use garden green. Okay. Another tip I can give you is sometimes I like to change up the size of my mat. For example, you know, standard is the 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and then I went down one layer. But look how Tamara used a completely different size mat. Okay, she scaled way down. Okay, and remember that we typically go down or up by 1/4 inches or 1/8 if you want the real skinny edge. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm thinking I might want a smaller layer. So a way to do this, you can use grid paper, although this fancy pretty one is not doesn't have the numbers on like the plain grid paper. But I'll do something like this, and this will kind of match up here, and I can see that this is approximately 3 1/2 by, I'd say, 3 3/4. Okay, so I know the piece I want to use should be at least that size. Okay, so I happen to have a piece right here. Whoops. So I said 3 1/2 by 3 3/4. And again, this just gives me a good guesstimate of the size that I need. You might find that sometimes you're off a bit. No big deal, right? Okay, so I'm going to stamp something like that. Let me grab my blocks. The tree leaves are pretty big, so I'm going to pull out this big mama here. Oh, speaking of mama, not that I'm a mama again, but my nephew and his girlfriend had a baby this weekend, Forrest Michael, 9 pounds, 6 ounces. He could use some prayers. He is in the NICU, but he's doing very well, and they think he'll be going home on Saturday. But anyways, my sister Janet is now Gigi. Okay. So I'm thinking when I do something like this, my first instinct was to stamp the trunk. But I think what I want to do is stamp the leaves, the larger image first. So I'm pulling out my garden green. I'm going to ink this up. Okay, looks pretty good. Now you can see on here on this image that some of the areas are darker and some are lighter. The stamping should show that, okay? You know how sometimes we stamp off to get a lighter shade? Well, this is doing that for us. Isn't that cool? Look at that. Isn't that fun? Okay, and now the same thing. So I love how they did this as the part of the what do I want to say? Come on, ladies. Mosaic Mood. Mosaic Mood. Sorry about that. You can tell it's been a long day. Okay. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Now, I could have gone even smaller, I seem. Okay. And, you know, I think I'm going to try another piece. Or this is also what I do at times. I might decide that, you know what, I'm just going to cut it down. I started at 3 3/4. I'm going to take a 1/4 inch off the bottom and a 1/4 inch off the top. Ooh, that's a little bit much. I'm going to take a little bit less. Okay. Okay. So now I have 3 1/4 by 3 1/2 inch, okay? And do you see how it just looks a little bit nicer with not quite as much white or dead space, okay? The other thing you can do is, and this is, you know, this is a perfect tree just like it is. If you want to do a little bit more, you can stamp again. Just maybe move it slightly from where it was, okay? and then I'm going to go on top of it like that. Do you see how it really filled in the tree? Okay. But it still leaves you with that mosaic theme. Okay. So now I am going to add a soft suede back to this. And that's 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. So I'm going to go up on each dimension. I'm going to do 3 1/2 by 3 3/4. Okay, do you see how I added 1/4 to each of the dimensions? And that will leave me, cut it wrong. Okay, and that gives me a standard size mat. Okay, so let me adhere this. I keep taking the Stampin' Pierce mat back and forth. Use it, don't use it, but that's because when I have a lighter color cardstock, it shows up better on here, and the darker colors show up better against the white. Okay, so now I have that. How about for a card base? This time we use the So Saffron cardstock. Okay, and remember, I like to work with a whole sheet of cardstock and make 2 card bases at once, typically because I make 2 cards at once, 2 of the same. That's a great way for me to build up my card stash for cards to give away to customers who place online orders with the host code. I sell cards and I send cards. Okay, now here we can either go this direction or do it horizontally. That looks pretty good. But I think we need something on the background, don't you? How about some DSP? I'm gonna think here. Kind of like that, but that's a lot of green. I like this, but that big hummingbird's not gonna show up so well. How about, let's see what's on the back. I think I'm gonna use this one, okay? So I'm going to cut this 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I'll put this on as the background to my card front. Center it in there nicely. I'll put this on here. Okay. And it still needs a little something, doesn't it? Okay, I think what it needs is a sentiment. So let's see what else is in the stamp set. We have a thank you, and then this one. All the pieces of your kindness make my life more beautiful. I think I'll go ahead and go with the thank you and a punch. I'm not going to, I've already showed you how to put the label on your stamp, so I'm not going to do that now. Okay, and I'm actually going to stamp this on a scrap of, I bet I don't even have a scrap. No, that's all right. I am going to stamp this onto So Saffron using the Garden Green. Okay, and I could use the timeless label punch. Let me see. I don't know if this one, I think this one, the classic label punch, is going to be too small. Oh no, I like it. I like it. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Just like that. Okay. The other thing you can do, I don't know if any of you have done this, but you can layer the stamps as well, or the punches as well. Can you picture that? Okay. Let's give that a try with a pop of color. How about we go back to that terracotta tile? This is okay. And I'm just going to put some dimensionals behind that. Boy, I have so much to do before I leave on my trip. I need to finish posts. I need to finish packing and figuring out what I'm taking. I have some cards I need to get in the mail to several people. Some from Facebook Live, some from online ordering. All kinds of things. Need to schedule, well, I know what the dates are of my July classes, but I need to plan out what I'm doing there. Okay. And then I'm going to add this label with adhesive. Okay. So I like it just like this. And I think we do need some flowers. Anybody else agree with me on that? We need a couple of flowers. I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to put it right here. Okay. So the second card of the night. Not bad for winging it, huh? Oh, ladies, thanks so much for joining me. And be sure, if you're watching, be sure to comment, because you will be entered into a drawing to receive one of the cards tonight. Okay. Now, I am curious about this one. I have not used it yet, and I'm even trying to figure out how would I do this. Okay? Because I feel like it should fit the punch. Maybe, yes. But then it's going to cut off the kindness. So let's think about this, okay? And do it together. And then we'll add it to a card. And I do know that I want to use this paper. So it's got a lot of the mint macaron, so saffron. Well, is that the one? There's one that's embossed. Oh, it's that. So this is mint macaron, terracotta tile, so saffron, okay? And then this is the opposite with basically same pattern, but no embossing, and it uses so saffron instead of terracotta tile. All right, so I know I want to use this on my card. So I'm going to set that there. Again, I'm not putting the label on, but yes, I typically do put the labels on all my stamps, okay? I'm going to pull out some white scrap paper, and I think I am going to stamp this in the so saffron. And I'm going to stamp it twice because I think that's how I'm going to be able to layer these, okay? I wish I had an assistant beside me that could kind of clean up as I go, because before I know it, my whole place is filled with stuff. Okay, it gets a little bit crazy and hard to work when it's like that. Okay, I'm also going to pull my mint macaron, let's see, got that sun shining right in my eye again. My mint macaron Stampin' Right marker, okay, and I'm going to stamp this, or punch this first. And I should probably cut some of this off so I can make the punch fit the way I need it to. And then I'm going to show you how I'm going to add that kindness. Okay, and we are going to do some fussy cutting. So no fussing about that, ladies. Did your mom ever say that when you were little? No fussing. I've had enough of your fussing. My mom sure did. Okay, I'm going to use my mint macaron marker to color in the word kindness. I send a lot of thank you notes. What's the most single type of card you think you send? For some people it's birthday, for some thinking of yous. I guess I send a lot of those too. Lately it's been lots of kindness. Okay, now I am just going to fussy cut this part out. I like to remove some of that excess cardstock, just a little bit easier for me to work on the fussy cutting. You don't have to get real detailed like I am here. You could just go around without going into all these grooves of the different letters. You can even do some straight cutting using your trimmer. But you notice too, the proper way to cut is to move your paper around. Your scissors pretty much stays in the same direction, just moving slightly, but it's your paper that you move around for better cutting. And I think when we're teaching children to use scissors, we often overlook that, and the poor kids are trying to, hold the image just right and cut all the way around. So just something to keep in mind. Not really a right way, or, well, I guess it is kind of the right way, but a better way, I'll say. A better way. Better and easier. Okay. Oh, I think this is pretty good for some quick fussy cutting. Okay. All right. So now I'm just going to match that up, but I want to pop it up on some dimensionals. And 2 minis is sufficient for that. Here's another little tip. If you have trouble pulling off these backings, use a fingernail to just push down into it. Can you see that? And it sort of lifts up an edge and it pulls right off. Sometimes they're a little bit stubborn. Okay. So, you see that? Fun, right? Okay. So now, let me cut some of that wonderful DSP. I know you're probably watching thinking, oh, Mary, you're going to put your arm in the stamp pads. The funny thing is I have done that, just not on a Facebook Live. But once during a Facebook Live, Inez commented, Mary, I'm worried about you putting your arm in the ink pad. Okay, how about should we use terracotta tile? Oh, let's do this. Instead of making this 5 1/4 by 4, I'm going to trim it down a little bit more. I'm going to do 4 3/4. Again, this is kind of the way I roll, right, ladies? By 3 1/2. Okay. And then I'm going to do a small border around that, so 4 7/8. by 3 5/8. Okay. And then I think I want to do one more layer. And I'm going to do the terracotta tile. Sometimes it's just fun to add more layers. Oh, look at that one. That one's already cut. And this one is 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to use that one also. And then I'm going to put it on a mint macaron background. Or card base, I should say. And the one embellishment that coordinates with this product suite is the mint macaron ribbon, which I haven't used yet. So let's add that to here. How many of you, now mint macaron is one of those colors that was once an in color, and they just kind of brought it back to life for us. Are you one of those people that was happy to see mint macaron coming back in to our selection of colors? You know, it wasn't one I loved when it first came out, but boy did I use it a lot. So I actually was very thrilled that it was coming back, and I think a lot of other people are as well. Okay, I think we need to use some of this ribbon. Okay, and I'm just going to go around my layers here and tie a knot. Nothing fancy, but enough ribbon to add a little wow to it. And of course this ribbon is a wow all by itself because it shimmers. Always trim your ribbon ends, makes it look more polished, more finished. And if you trim them at an angle, there's less chance of them fraying. Okay, I'm actually going to trim them just a wee bit shorter. There, I like that better. Okay, then I'm going to adhere this to my mint macaron card base. Who has already purchased the Mosaic Mood DSP? Oh, Joyce, I'm glad you like that color combination. I think it's fun. Okay, I'm going to show you another quick tip here with the punch. Piece of scrap paper. If you punch this, some of you are probably familiar with this already, and then I'm deciding which way I want to go. I'm going to cut it in half, so I could go wide or I could go top to bottom. I think I want to go wide. So I'm going to snip this up the center, and then I'm going to put some adhesive on the edge of the label, and I'm going to add this little border or mat to each side. Okay, because obviously you punch it, it's going to be the same size as what we already have, but this is another way to use your punches, and this works with pretty much all of them. You can do this with circles, you can do this with the classic label punch, the everyday label. Okay, any of those wonderful punches that you use for labeling or for stamping small images on. Okay, now it makes it pop a little bit more, doesn't it, because it has the color behind it. Oh, thanks for those hearts and thumbs up. Those are always motivating when I see those. Okay, and I'm going to use 4 mini dimensionals. When I'm adding a label or anything, a layer, that is going to be on top of a ribbon, I like to make sure that my dimensionals are paper to paper and not laying on the ribbon, because if it lays right on the ribbon, your label is going to be moving around a bit. Carol, hi. I'm glad you like the color combination too. Okay, and I'm going to raise this a little bit off. I don't want it exactly at the center. When I say center, I mean the ribbon, cutting it in half there. What do you think? Or maybe I want it, yeah, I'll do it like that. Okay, so it's centered side to side, but I didn't want the ribbon cutting the label right in half. And then, of course, I need to use some of these gorgeous dimensionals. Okay, and I think I'm going to put them on one on each end of the label, top and bottom. Okay, what do you think? Okay. All right, ladies, that's pretty much what I have for you as far as projects tonight. I do have a couple of announcements. Stampin' Up! Has brought back their bonus days. Bonus days mean that when you purchased $50 in product, that's before shipping and tax, you will receive a coupon code for $5. And that will be good during the month of August. Okay, so you earn your coupon codes in July. You get a $5 coupon code for each of your $50 purchases during the month. So that's all cumulative. Okay, and then you save those host codes. They will be sent by email, and you do want to save those emails because they don't typically give demonstrators a record of those codes. So hold on to those codes, and then when you place your orders in August, you can redeem those host codes. Okay. Oh, ladies, thanks for your compliments. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so that's the first biggie for July, is our bonus days. And then also in the month of July and August, I am hoping to add new members to my Mary Stampers team. That's MERRY, my Mary Stampers team. We're sitting at about 50 right now, and this is a pending month, so some of our people will drop off, but I'm hoping to replace any of those with new demonstrators and beyond. You do not have to hold classes or sell if you don't want to. Many demonstrators, probably the majority of demonstrators around the world, are doing it so that they can get their Stampin' Up! Products at a 20% discount. And then you also have the opportunity to get a greater discount and earn volume rebates, giving you a little bit more commission, that sort of thing. But you can do that on your own sales. You can have just a couple of customers who help you stay active and keep you going with your discount. Or you can build a business, a small business, having a class once or twice a month, or you can do bigger business, online, etc. Whatever you want to do, please know that my team runs the whole range, from those who just enjoy their discount to those that are building a business for extra income, and everybody in between. Okay, and we welcome everybody. We are a very active group, both on Facebook as well as in person. We do lots of sharing, and we're a great group. So I hope you will consider joining my Stampin' Up! Family in July and August, because you get extra product in your starter kit. Typically, our starter kit is you choose $126 of product and you pay just $99 plus sales tax. Your shipping is free on the starter kit. During July and August, you're getting an additional $30 in product. You can choose an additional $30 in product. So you'll be getting $155 of product, and you're still paying just $99 plus tax, and it will be shipped to your home free. Okay, and then once you've purchased your starter kit, you can start getting a discount on all your future Stampin' Up! Purchases, or getting some customers and building a business. You also can recruit, which helps as well. And it's just a lot of fun. You know, I think of Stampin' Up!, my team, my customers, everybody online that follows me, really like a second family to me. So those two things, bonus days and extra in your starter kit. Any questions? Okay. I'll be taking some notes also of future Facebook Live ideas. Please know that I have been pretty active and pretty consistent on my blog, Stampin' Piece at typepad.com. And you can get lots of ideas there. Over the course of my vacation, I have several posts where I'm actually sharing a free project sheet for all of you to recreate the card I feature that day, as well as use it to case or be inspired in some way in your own creations. Okay? Ladies, thanks for joining me. Thanks for sharing part of your Tuesday evening with me. I will be back here on Stampin' Scrap with Mary Nade in just 2 weeks. Okay? In the meantime, have a great couple of weeks. Stay cool. Much of the country, like here in Columbus, Ohio, is very, very hot. But take care, and remember, make someone's day by sending a hand-stamped card today. Love you all. Good night.